In 2022, former President Donald Trump routinely laced into President Joe Biden's son, Hunter. In several rallies across the United States, the former president took aim at Hunter Biden's alleged financial and legal improprieties. Hunter Biden has been a hot-button topic for the right since the current president announced his run in 2020. They alleged that Hunter broke the law before and after his father was vice president, alleging influence peddling with foreign governments and drug and firearms-related offenses. Hunter Biden has been candid about his struggles with illicit substances, writing about his addiction problems in a memoir. He has also raised eyebrows for selling paintings for six-figure sums since his father took office, which has brought him more accusations of corruption. President Biden has dismissed Republican claims of impropriety and has consistently defended his son from attacks.
But with respect to what's going on now, it would have been so easy for me to stop this travesty from happening. He understood me, and he understood that I didn't play games. This would not have happened. Someday I'll tell you exactly what we talked about. But we talked about it. And he did have an affinity, there's no question about it, for Ukraine. I said, never let it happen. You better not let it happen. This is the only attack in history where the further he goes and the bigger it gets, and the worse it gets, and the more death that's caused, the more money he makes, because oil prices keep climbing higher and higher and higher. There's never been anything like that, where a warring nation, the more he makes it difficult to get oil, the more expensive it gets, and the more money he makes. And all those tanks roaming around are very expensive, but they're peanuts compared to the kind of money that he's making because of the tremendous increase in oil. You know, when I left, and during my term, oil was at $36 a barrel. Think of it, 36. Now it hit 100, and they think it's going to 150. So the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, a lot of countries, but Russia right now in particular is making more money than they ever dreamt possible. The cost of the war is very, very small compared to the kind of money they're taking in. There's never been a situation like that. It's horrible to watch. It's horrible because it's a disincentive for him to disengage. Remember, Joe and Hunter Biden got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife and were never allowed to explain in the debate. Remember we had the debate? And I said, hey, what'd you do with the $3.5 million that you got from the mayor of Moscow's wife? And Chris Wallace, who I assume was now fired from Fox, which is good. He said, that's not an appropriate question. That turned out to be another one. Trump was right. That turned out to be another very appropriate question. He got $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Very rich family, I will tell you that. This is a conflict of interest, but at the same time, Joe Biden bragged unknowingly on tape, and this was on tape, can you imagine if I said it, about getting rid of a Ukrainian prosecutor, or he wouldn't allow $1 billion of American taxpayers' money to be given to Ukraine. They kept saying, where's the money, where's the money, where's the money? No, you got to get rid of that prosecutor, he's getting too close. Can you imagine if I did that? And he was on tape. And the fake news media, those people right there, refused to report it. And that's without mentioning the fact that China gave them $1.5 billion to manage. And he never managed money before, other than the money they got, probably. There's plenty of conflicts there. You don't have to even think about it. And the fake news didn't want to mention anything. They didn't want to talk about it. It was bad for the election. It was bad for our country in their mind, but they probably knew talking about it would have been good. We can never really bring our country back unless we get an honest media, because they're like the policing agent, and they refuse to air scandal. They refuse to say, where's Hunter? Hunter's right now living very nicely, selling paintings for $500,000 a piece. I had a guy, they're doing a White House painting, right? A White House, beautiful White House painting, and I have to interview artists, and these are really talented people. And the one artist, he's phenomenal. His talent is incredible. He actually made a painting so good. I wish I was so handsome as this painting. But he made a painting so beautiful for the White House. I said, how much will that cost? He said, oh, I'd say about $25,000, sir. I said, you mean Hunter Biden, who never did a painting before, gets $500,000 and you're getting $25,000? What the hell is going on with that, David Perdue? What's going on with that, David Perdue? Tell me. But there's a new slogan you're hearing all across the country, and it's on hats. It's on the best-selling hat. It said, Trump was right. We were right about everything. And in addition to restoring the Trump energy policies, the United States must also immediately restore the Trump border policies. We have a border that's the worst. We have people coming into our country. They're let out of prisons from many countries, not just the 4 that I've always named, but from many, many countries. Last week, we have a man named Tom Homan someplace around here. Where the hell is Tom Homan? Where's the great Tom Homan? This is one of the greatest men. And is he central casting or what, Matt? He's central casting? The Tom Homan was the strongest person on the border. I mean, he's incredible. And I recommend they use him, but they don't want to do that because they actually want open borders. But last week, they had 129 people, 129 countries represented with people that came in. Another key step for a Republican Congress will be to restore free speech in America. They say that in Russia, the people in Russia don't even know they're having a war because they have a rigged press. We have the same rigged press. Maybe not quite as severe, but it'll be there in the not-too-distant future. Both the New York Times and the Washington Post have now finally admitted that Hunter Biden's laptop, the laptop from hell, is real, which I think I came up with that name. Didn't I come up with that name first? I think so. I never get credit for fake news. I never get credit for the laptop from hell. I never get credit for Crooked Hillary. We had so many great names. I won't go into the Republican names because I like them all now. But because we don't want to do that. I'm actually getting along with them very well. I'd rather not do that. But we came up with some pretty good names. But this is the laptop from hell. And pollsters say that we would have brought an additional 17. Never been a president that's gone through the crap that I'm going through, left and right, left. You feel like a fighter, left and right, and then you get up and you knock the hell out of them. And I'm glad we put on the piece from Jesse Waters. You saw that just before about the document hoax. We have a document hoax. They're talking about me with documents, and then they go back over the last 5 presidents. You take a look at that hoax. There's no better example of the left's chilling obsession with targeting political opponents than the baseless, abusive, and depraved lawsuit against me, my family, my company, by the racist Attorney General of New York State, Letitia Peekaboo James. This raging maniac campaigned for office ranting and raving about her goal. Her only goal is we got to get Donald Trump. We got to get him. She knew nothing about me. I never heard of her. In fact, I was watching it and I said, boy, that woman's angry. I don't think she likes me too much. All without having any evidence. She knew nothing about me. Before she had even begun her phony investigation, she went around boasting her plan to weaponize her office against me, probably working with the federal government, of course, declaring, I look forward to going into office of Attorney General, New York State, every single day and suing him. I'm going to sue him. And then I'm going to go home and I'm going to be so happy because I sued him. She further screamed that his days are numbered and proclaimed that nothing else matters other than defeating Donald Trump. This is a gross prosecutorial misconduct, and it's coming in so many different forms, whether it's in Atlanta, whether it's from Washington, D.C., whether it's January 6th, coming from many different forms. There's never been a period of time like this, and I thought actually because Liz Cheney was so badly defeated, I thought that January 6th would go away, and I think it is going away actually, because that really was the sentiment of a great group of people. She got, I think it was the largest defeat in the history of politics as a congressperson. And that was a referendum on what they're doing. In a fair country, instead of harassing me, the Biden Justice Department would be investigating Letitia James for her appalling and malicious abuse of power. We won't even mention Hunter. We're not going to mention that because that would be disrespectful. No, that would be disrespectful. It's too long to talk about it. We'd be talking about it. Thankfully, the latest polls show that Peekaboo James is losing to her Republican challenger this fall. He's very good, too. He's a great guy. He's a real crime fighter. And we wish Michael a lot of luck because he's representing a lot of people that want to see New York change. It's a crime-ridden place. But she doesn't just deserve to lose. She deserves to be removed from office, immediately disbarred, and banished from the legal profession forever. And that goes for others also. Because these prosecutors, these Democrats are out of control. They've gone crazy. They've gone crazy. The Republicans don't fight that way, and I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but you know what? It's a big difference. On Letitia James's watch, New York has become a cesspool of violent crime. Homicides in New York are up 52%. Robberies are up 38%. And carjackings are up, listen to this one, 286%. That's the new thing. You get in your car, oh, I love my car so much, darling. Thank you so much for buying. And then a gun goes through the window. They say, give me that car. 286% up. Rather than spending all of her time going after me and my family, Ivanka, think of it, Ivanka. Ivanka is a very good person. Don Jr., he's a good person. Eric, these are good people. This crazy radical leftist nutjob, James, should be going after the killers, the gangbangers, drug dealers, and MS-13 savages who are ravaging the state of New York. But the radical Democrats don't care about prosecuting violent criminals. They only care about persecuting Republicans or conservatives. We got to remember this. We got to remember. As we have seen in recent years, our opponents have shattered every principle of justice, ransacked every institution, abused every power, and unleashed every weapon of the deep state, the fake news media. And there they are right there. They're so fake. Look how many. Look how many there are. Oh. Wow. And the Silicon Valley censors, all to try and stop us, but it's not going to be easy to stop us because there's many, many more of us than there are of them. And you know, I don't even say Republicans or conservatives. I say, you know what I call us? People with common sense. People with common sense. We don't want open borders. We want low taxes. We want good education. We want military, good, strong military. We want all of the things that just common sense. It's really not conservative, Mark? I don't think so. It's common sense. But no matter what these left-wing tyrants throw at us, no matter what the sick Washington establishment does to us, we keep on going, we keep on fighting, and we keep pushing forward. We have no choice. A very wealthy and successful man saw me 2 days ago, and I talked a little bit. I don't know if anyone saw Sean Hannity last night, but for the last 2 nights, he's done an interview with me. He did very well with the ratings. He's very smart. And I told him that there was a man that came up to me, but this happens a lot. And he came up and see, you know that tractor out there? All that buzzing means is that it's going backwards, but it'll stop. It just stopped. It's amazing. That tractor's a long way. I know a lot about tractors. But a man came up to me, very successful, powerful man. And I said, how you doing? How have you been? He said, very good. But could I ask you a question? How do you take it? These fake prosecutors, you went through the impeachment, you went through this. And, you know, our poll numbers today are the strongest we've ever had. Ever, by far. He said, how do you do it? And you know what I said to him? Do I have a choice? No. These people are crazy. They're crazy. But we're on a mission to rescue the America we love and restore the republic to greatness, and we will not fail. We're not going to fail. Not going to fail. For 6 straight years, it has been one witch hunt after another. The Russia scam, remember that? Set up by the Democrats and crooked Hillary Clinton. They spied on my campaign, think of it. And it wasn't the Russians that were spying, it was the Americans that were spying. Can you imagine, take Obama, can you imagine if one of us spied on his campaign? Would they call for the death penalty or something slightly worse than that? Impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the Unselect Committee on January 6th. It's an unselect committee. I love that term. I made it. You know, they call it the select. I said, oh, I love the term unselect. They are. That's Liz Cheney and her band of terrible people. How about Adam Crying Kinzinger? He's another great Republican. By the way, and out of the 10 that voted to impeach, 8 are gone, and the other ones will be gone very soon. These were all races that couldn't be lost, and you're going to meet a couple of people today that won. Russell, congratulations, Russell. What a good job, Russell. Where the hell is Russell? Russell Fry, what a job. He beat his opponent so badly, Rice, right? He beat him so badly that it was the biggest single defeat for a congressperson in history. Lost by 26 points. It doesn't happen, a sitting person. You know, sometimes they get out. They have scandal, they have problems, they get out. But nobody's ever lost by that much until Liz Cheney, who lost by 40 points. I'm sorry. Liz Cheney lost by 40. That's the biggest defeat. And then you turn on the fake news and they say, she's got a brilliant future. I wonder what her next move is going to be. I said, no! She lost by 40 points. They're talking about her brilliant future. She's not got a brilliant future. This week, it has even been revealed by a whistleblower that the FBI is taking resources away from fighting crime and using them for partisan political investigations to falsely label MAGA, Make America Great Again, MAGA. Remember what, you know, they say MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. They don't want to say what it means. It means Make America Great Again, Uncle Sam. Supporters, as they want to call us, domestic terrorists. Do you believe it? I'm not a terrorist. But you know what? There's great anger in this country right now. There's great anger in this country. Never forget, all of this torment, persecution, and oppression is not happening because of anything we've done wrong. It's happening because of everything our movement is doing so right and so brilliantly. They're leaking that they may actually be charging Hunter Biden with very minor charges relative to the crimes that he apparently committed. And look, we don't want bad stuff to happen, but they're leaking that couple of minor charges relatively compared to the kind of charges that they could be. And that's up to them. But are they actually going to do the right thing and hold the Bidens accountable, or is this just a charade and an excuse to continue targeting me and our movement of Make America Great Again and America First? I don't know. I think they're doing this for a little reason. I think they want to target us, and they make it look a little bit more fair when they throw out a couple of charges about Hunter. Now, you know what's happening. It's a disgrace what's happening in this country. And it is prosecutorial misconduct, and the people in this country aren't going to take it. Remember this. They've come after me now for 6 years. A friend of mine who's a very successful guy said, you have to be the most honest guy in the world. My son, who runs the company, Eric Trump, he's probably in the history of the world, he's probably the most subpoenaed person from Congress every week, every day, every month, we got to a point where we just stack them up. But there's never been anything like it. It's a disgrace. You know, instead of focusing on our country and focusing on all the problems ahead and focusing on all the potential that we have as a country, all they do is keep investigating and investigating the Russia hoax. And it seems to be always turning around, doesn't it? Where they created the Russia hoax, and they were the ones that dealt with Russia in order to create the fake document, the fake dossier, and all of the things that they've done, the crimes that they've committed. It's a disgrace. But it's crystal clear that they're coming after me because I fight for you and I fight for America, and they're not used to that because they don't want people fighting for America. And because we are leading big in all the polls and winning all across the country, both against Republicans, which, you know, I'm proud to do, and Democrats, which I'm even more proud to do. But we're winning against everybody. Never before in American history has our country seen such corruption and abuse of power as we are witnessing right now. Right now, the radical left is no longer about socialism. It's not anymore. It's about communism. They've stepped over socialism. They've forgotten about the word socialism, and that's where our country is headed. And I predicted this a long time ago. I saw what was happening. I predicted a lot of things. You ever see the hat? Trump was right about everything. Look what happened with Russia. Should have never happened, what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. If the Democrats win, the communists win. And soon they will send their thugs, their criminals, their angry left-wing prosecutors, and the 87,000 new IRS agents that are allowed to carry guns, by the way. You know, they're all anti-gun, right? But the prosecutors, these agents are allowed to carry. Think of that. They want to stop you from having a gun, but those 87,000 people are allowed to carry guns. They want to walk in and come after you. If Republicans win, the communists lose, the globalists lose, the deep state bureaucrats lose, the Silicon Valley censors lose, the corrupt fake news lose, the media bosses lose, and the rhinos lose. The rhinos are no good. But America wins, and America wins very big. Things by doing all of these sinister and venomous things, they're making us weaker, but actually they're making us stronger and much more unified than we've ever been before. We now have a two-tiered system of justice, and it's got to stop because the people of our country are angry. The people of our country are very unhappy with what's going on. In fact, the people of our country are very sad. They don't like to see this. What they want to do is make America great again and to put America first. That's what they want to do. It's very simple. And they want this radical left charade that goes on endlessly for years to stop. Many powerful, influential people tell me you must sue the government and the prosecutors for prosecutorial misconduct and, frankly, for violating your own civil rights and liberties. And it's, a lot of truth to that. Who the hell lives like this? They've been doing this to me for years. Ever since I came down the golden escalator in Trump Tower, no other president has ever been treated like this. And I'm not complaining because, you know what? I'm doing a great job for the people of our country, and that's what it's all about. Got to bring our country back. But now they're leaking that they may actually be charging Hunter Biden. Remember where's Hunter? Where's Hunter? $500,000 a painting. Great artists come into the White House because they're supposed to be painting my picture for the White House. These are great, talented people. There's a list of like 30 that are acceptable, and you ask them, how much for a picture? I like to negotiate, right? I don't even know who pays. I think the government pays. I'll pay. But how much? And it's very little money, actually. And then you hear Hunter Biden gets $500,000 to take a can of paint and throw it against a piece of canvas. but not do it himself. You know, his other people do it, I imagine. But they may actually be charging Hunter Biden with very minor charges relative to crimes committed, and that's really up to them. But are they actually doing this charade to continue targeting me and our movement? It sounds to me like they're doing it so they can say, well, you know, we're treating everyone fairly. No, they're not. They're not treating us fairly. And they have to be very careful because it can come around, you know. It can come around and snip them. They have to be very, very careful what they're doing. They're playing a game that's never been played to this extent in our country. They're coming after me because I fight for you.